What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Situation's evolving, and I read an article not too long ago, and it was talking about how more households are basically struggling to get by due to the ever-increasing cost of living. And more importantly, more households with employed people around the world are literally struggling to pay their bills, or at least a portion of their bills, up to 14% compared to 10% back in 2022. And further, 4% of the people that were surveyed, they are employed. So they are working. This is the working class, unable to afford the ever-increasing cost of living. Meanwhile, CPI inflation is allegedly going down. By the way, if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and smash that like button. I really would appreciate that, guys. Now, this is a phenomenon. And, people have been living paycheck to paycheck for years. And this is not an unusual circumstance. But the number of people who are falling into this category who were previously not living paycheck to paycheck due to the ever-increasing cost of living is accelerating. That is the part that is most concerning. And the cost of living is driving 25% of workers, 25% of people around the world to look for new jobs. In fact, most people are, well, not most people, 1 in 4, 25% of people are finding that their current wages their wages are not keeping up with the cost of living. And so they're needing to make some significant changes. And this is in the face of layoffs, as we've seen from many of the different tech companies. But the rising cost of living is causing many employed people to have to look for either higher paying jobs or to look for a new job or even to take on additional jobs. And this is the reality. In fact, many people are not earning enough money to not have to work overtime and be able to afford their rent and be able to afford their mortgage payments and be able to afford their $850 car payments and be able to afford their health care insurance for their pets and their credit card bills and the ever-increasing costs of groceries. And let's not even talk about HOA fees ever increasing on real estate in the housing market. Let's not talk about insurance rates increasing as well. But these are all of the facts that many people are dealing with right now. And, 26% of the global workforce, they're looking to change their jobs. And this was actually a survey that was taken, and it interviewed 54,000 workers in 46 different countries, not just the United States of America, not just in the state of Georgia, the state of Florida, California, New York. This is worldwide. This is a global problem. But of course, we certainly feel it right here at home. And based on the comments that I've gotten from people, more and more individuals are either moving back home with their parents. More and more people are renting out rooms in their home on Airbnb, VRBO to try to recoup some of those expenses that are not able to be afforded through their primary income source, through their job, through their 9-to-5 job. And so it's getting to a point where more and more Americans are looking at leaving their current job so that they can find work elsewhere that hopefully pays more. Either that or the 9-to-5 job is starting to become more like the 9-to-9 job, where 8 hours of work isn't enough. Are we moving to a society where 12-hour work shifts are becoming required just to survive? I mean, I hope we're not headed there. I mean, bad enough as it is, I've talked to and I've read articles on this. Many Americans don't really live where they live. Now, let me know if this makes sense to you. Not what I just said. That clearly didn't make sense, but I'm going to elaborate on that for you guys. How many of you guys find yourselves in a situation where you have a home or an apartment or a condo, wherever you happen to live? You might be a renter, you might be paying a mortgage, maybe you own the house, whatever. Do you find yourself not really living where you live, in the sense that you spend most of your time away from your home, and the few hours that you spend at home, you sleep? So you have a place to sleep, but you don't really live there. Like, every waking or most of your waking hours are spent working. Now, if you find yourself in this situation, I don't believe that this is a pattern that can or even should continue for very long. I don't think that this is very sustainable personally. But more and more people are finding themselves in that situation. Financial hardship is even more widespread in 2023 than it was back in 2022. And more employed people are just working to pay the bills. They're unable to save enough of their earnings for retirement, 401k, IRAs, to take vacations, to really enjoy life, to experience life. And me personally, I feel like this is essential to maintaining good health. We always hear about this work-life balance. Like, that is important. And I'm afraid that more and more people falling into these situations where, a side hustle is required just to survive, or, driving for Uber or Lyft on the side in addition to your 9-to-5 job, just to literally, not even to get ahead financially, but just to survive, could lead more and more people to having higher levels of stress. And of course, I'm no doctor, but there's a lot of evidence that indicates that higher levels of stress generally result in an acute probability of having a heart attack or many other negative health-related problems that come from very high stress situations. Now, this particular group of people with little to no savings increased from 37% in 2022 to 42% in 2023. These are people with little to no savings. Meanwhile, the percentage of workers who can afford to save reduced. It shrunk from down to 38% from 47% a year ago. So the number of people who have enough savings in their, hopefully a high yield savings bank account or their money market account, the number of people who have enough money in their bank accounts to survive an unexpected expense is declining. And the number of people with little to no savings in their bank accounts is increasing. Another trend that is not looking good for, most Americans, for people around the world. And more households with employed people around the world are struggling to pay all or some of their bills every single month, which is up from 14% from 10% in 2022. So this is a rapidly growing problem. And let's not even forget about the single parents, or even, maybe even not necessarily single parents, because, we were in this boat where, we have a child, and, during the time where we needed childcare, we were spending so much money from our income every single month that could have been used to invest in real estate or the stock market, index funds, ETFs. No, we had to allocate a significant portion of our income for childcare. Why? Because we both had to work. And it got so expensive that we literally debated whether or not it was worth having one of us to continue to work. Because it got to a point where it's like, okay, why would I go to work to only make slightly more than what our child care costs? It's kind of like you're paying for someone to raise your kid for you when you could simply just not work, take a little bit of a hit on that income, but at least you could spend quality time with your children during their most precious years of their life. And more people are dealing with this right now. This new economy, automation, it's AI taking over. Workers who said that they are most likely to change their employers include those who feel most overworked, who are struggling to pay their bills every single month, and members of Gen Z. Now, this particular survey cites purpose, company culture, and inclusion as a key element to retaining employees, not to mention a significant number of people who were working from home for years now, being called back into the office, are now pulled away from their families. People are fighting this. People are willing to leave their employers over this. People are now being pulled back, demanded to come back into the office. Meanwhile, they've been working successfully from home. Companies hitting record profits for 2023, 2022, 2021, record profits. Why the need to bring employees back into the office who have been performing? Is it a control thing? I think it's about control. I personally think that corporate America has felt that they have lost control for long enough, and they need to pull those reins back in and show that worker, you're not in control. I want to keep my thumb on you. I want to keep more tabs on you. I want to make sure that you adopt our company culture. And that culture is to spend every waking moment of your life in the office. So what? You could do what you're doing at home. We want you here. We want to justify our commercial lease on this corporate building, on this commercial building. We want heads in the office. We want to put our thumbs on your heads while you're in the office. We want to micromanage you. Well, it seems like this is the society that they are trying to revitalize, folks. Now, me personally, I'm not down with that, and this is why I have been on a journey for years to retire early. And, every time I'm, having a conversation with a client, coaching them on how to retire early or how to get that side hustle or that small business going, or helping people create, home-based business ideas that can be done from home. The main reason why most people work with me to kind of get going is so that they can free up their time and spend more time with their family. And I totally get it. The trend is definitely going this way, folks. Well, I really appreciate hanging out with you guys today. I really appreciate the conversation. If you guys made it this far in the video, do your boy a favor. Definitely drop a quick like for the video. Also consider subscribing to the channel. Share this video with someone who is important to you. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. Be safe.